Pregnancy is supposed to be a time of joy, a new chapter, a promise of life and hope. But for me, it became a battlefield. My wife, Vanessa, had been unfaithful for months. I didn't find out right away. The signs were subtle: late nights, secret calls, unexplained absences. And when I finally confronted her, she didn't deny it. She just looked at me with that smug confidence, as if she already had her next move ready. Then came the announcement. She was pregnant. From that moment, everything changed. It wasn't just her tone or the way she spoke to me, it was the look in her eyes. That look that said, "You can't touch me now. You're trapped." First, I felt helpless, angry, betrayed, and afraid, because the situation wasn't simple anymore. How do you confront a woman carrying a child? A child who might not even be yours, without looking like the bad guy? Every word, every reaction suddenly felt like a test. For a while, I let her think she'd won. I stayed quiet. I kept my distance. But inside, something shifted. I realized silence wasn't weakness, it was a weapon if I used it right. So I started paying attention. Every lie, every manipulation, every time she used that pregnancy as a shield. I documented everything. Not for revenge, but to understand her game. To learn her pattern. To take back control. Vanessa believed that because she was pregnant, I would tolerate anything: the disrespect, the deceit, the emotional control. But what she didn't understand was that strength doesn't come from shouting or from threats. It comes from strategy, patience, and self-control. One evening, I decided to confront her, not in anger but in calm, deliberate truth. She was sitting on the couch, scrolling through her phone like nothing was wrong. I stood there and said quietly, "Vanessa, this child is not your shield. You don't get to use it to manipulate me. Your choices still have consequences." For the first time, I saw her expression break. That smirk she wore like armor cracked. She wasn't expecting me to be calm. She wasn't expecting control. That was the moment the balance shifted. After that, I didn't let her provoke me. When she threw insults, I stayed silent. When she tried guilt, I stayed neutral. Every time she tried to use the pregnancy to trap me, I refused to play along. My silence started to scare her more than my anger ever did. I made small but deliberate changes. I went back to the gym. I started focusing on work again. I spent more time talking to friends who actually cared about me. Piece by piece, I rebuilt myself. And with every step, I became harder to control. Then one night, she made her boldest move yet. She cornered me in the living room and said, "You can't leave now. I'm pregnant." That changes everything. I looked her dead in the eyes and said, "No, Vanessa. It changes nothing. I will not let you use this as a weapon. I will not let you destroy my peace just because you made your choices." Her face froze. The words she'd used to control me had lost their power. From that moment on, the tension between us became something different. She tried to test me, emotionally, mentally, but every attempt failed. Because now I understood something she didn't. When you control your emotions, you control the outcome. The pregnancy that she thought made her untouchable had become her mirror, showing her the reality of what she'd done. Weeks passed, and slowly her confidence began to fade. The tone of her voice changed. The arrogance softened into something else: uncertainty. I could see it in her eyes, the realization that the game was over. I kept documenting, kept preparing. I didn't lash out or seek revenge. I just let time do the work. Every action she took added weight to the truth she'd been avoiding. Then one evening, I'll never forget it. She came home from an appointment, tired and irritable. She started with the usual remarks, trying to pick a fight. But I just sat there sipping my coffee, calm as ever. She snapped, "You don't understand. You have to accept this. The baby changes everything." I looked at her steady. "No, Vanessa. I understand perfectly. But this doesn't give you control over me, or over the truth." She froze. That was the moment it all hit her, that her power only existed as long as I reacted to it. After that, something in her shifted. The sarcasm stopped. The manipulation quieted. And slowly, almost painfully, she began to realize what she'd done. Eventually, she asked to talk. This time, her voice wasn't confident. It was quiet, hesitant. She admitted what she'd done: the cheating, the lies, the way she tried to use her pregnancy to manipulate me. I didn't interrupt her. I didn't yell. I just listened. because by then I didn't need to prove anything. My silence said it all. That night I realized something powerful. Real strength isn't loud. It doesn't need to shout or threaten. Just stands firm. Her pregnancy, the thing she thought gave her ultimate leverage, had become the very thing that exposed her weakness. In the end she learned, maybe too late, that you can't build control on lies. You can't use life itself as a weapon. Actions have consequences. And respect, once broken, doesn't come back with apologies. Vanessa thought she could use her pregnancy to control me. But in the end, it became the reason she had to face herself. And the truth. And me? I walked away stronger, wiser, and completely in control of my life again.